Okay, today I'm going to talk about event handling in React. So first I'm going to talk about the rules and how do we use that in React. So number one, specify events by using on some event camel case using specify events, and we said that we need to pass a callback function to as a event handler. React use synthetic or custom event. So what is custom or synthetic event? So actually event is created by adding some properties like event name or event behavior, stuff like that. So this is not, React doesn't use raw API raw event. They override some event, so the DOM APIs of raw JavaScript. So I'll give you an example. Div handler class demo1 extends react.coded render return let's see, React event handler render demo1 and handler. Okay. So now we add a simple input field on the page. So div input, give it a placeholder, say input and lose focus. It means that if you lose focus, the message will be returned or displayed somewhere. So in this case we need to give it an action, give it an event. We call it on blur. Give it this dot show data one. Now we need a show data one function, and in this function we display use alert as use alert. We want so suppose we want to get the value, we need to add a ref. We give it an input on, and to use that ref we need to create a ref ourselves. So react dot create ref. Okay, so now we can get the value from ref, right? So this is the content from last class. So this dot input one dot current node dot value, right? So now it should just work fine. That's lost. This is, oh, there is a typo. So okay, okay, lost, right? As you can see here. So in this case, it perfectly described how we use the first and the second rules in JavaScript. So blur becomes to blur. And show data one is the callback function to handle event. React overrides all DOM or event APIs just simply for compatibility issue, because on click behave differently on different routers, and on click API overwritten by React is cross platform, right? Cross platform APIs, right? So they won't do that for nothing, right? So there must be a reason, simply because the compatibility issue. And we set this good. So React use event delegation or bubbling. So event delegation and the bubbling is a concept from raw JavaScript, which is also used in React. And so I'm gonna introduce you how it works in raw JavaScript. Then I would just explain how it applies to the React. So I have a div. It says bubbling. In this div, we give it a header. React use event delegation bubbling. Okay. And after this, right below the header, I wanna add a let's do a sorry, the list. Okay. And after this, we want a input field. Placeholder input something, and at the end of the element, we give it a button. Just click me, right? So let me show the page first. As you can see here, in the same element, under the same dev element, there are 4 elements: header, input field, and unsorted list, and the click me button, right? So suppose I have a script. You can use both JavaScript or barbell, it doesn't really matter. Right here I just put in JavaScript so that you can identify the difference between event delegation in React and a raw JavaScript. Typically this is for raw JavaScript, alright? So JavaScript, we give it a function called demo1. This is the event handler. We're gonna just we're gonna use it, back this to the event, right? So demo1 to so 3 function, right? Now we have 3 functions. And on the most up layer, the root dev element, we give it a function here. Right here it should be the second word lowercase, right? It's not camel case anymore because this is raw JavaScript. We give it a demo1, and yep. So when I click anything, it's just demo1. We click the list item, it's demo1. We click input field, it's demo1. We click the header, it's demo1. So whatever you click any atom inside of this root dev element, there's still the event will be passed to the dev element's root dev element eventually. So the onClick event will be handled with demo1 handler eventually. This is called event delegation or bubbling. Whatever any event happen nested into the root event, as long as you have an onClick event on the root, so it will be handled there eventually. So suppose I just add one, not here, in the onSorted list, we give it an onClick and demo2. Click the list atom number 2. It says demo2 and demo1. So it's just like bubbling, right? Floating in the water, floating to the top of the water, till the surface of the water, right? So it goes to onSorted list element first because this is demo2, and after that it goes to the most out layer, right? So the root dev element is just demo1, right? So it just like bubbling goes out layers by layers, right? So okay, so suppose I have a demo3 here, right? So I'll click demo3, right? So number 2, as you can see, the second list atom, right? Or you can just put this event listener on all the list items. In this case, we just push this one, right? So refresh page, and we click number 2. It says demo2, demo1. We click number 4. It says demo2 and demo1. So we click number 2, demo3, demo2, demo1, right? So it just goes out layer by layer. And suppose I have mouse out. I have a mouse out, right? So let's refresh page. Mouse out, demo3. As you can see, onClick demo1, demo2 haven't been invoked because they are using different events, right? So you can just handle only the same event using delegation, right? Event delegation, right? Because this is all mouse out event, so you can never invoke this demo1. No, you can never invent. And what is the event bubbling? So let's just get rid of this. So suppose you have some atoms here, and you don't need this like demo2 anymore, right? Because eventually the on-click event will be handled in the most out layer and from demo1. So now suppose if you click number 1 list atom, and how the out layer on click event handler demo1 will know which atom has been clicked. So this is the event bubbling. It's very useful. So whenever you click something nested element right here, you can a function or a parameter has already been passed into the into this callback function in default. So you can use this event.target. Let's show you a tag name, demo1 root element and children element tag clicked, right? So let's back to this page. Click number 1. Cannot read the property target. Okay, so you still need to pass parameter here, right? When you define this function. Okay, so I click number 4. As you can see, the root element has root element and a click children element tag list atom, right? So if you click me, the element tag is button, right? So by using this event.target, you will get which atom or which element was invoked, which event was invoked originally. So this is how we use event delegation and babbling in raw JavaScript, and the React use event delegation babbling as well, but all events will be bubbled to document element and handled by event dispatcher. Yeah, this is how React works, right? So compared to the raw JavaScript, all the events will be bubbled to the document elements and handled by event dispatcher. In terms of event dispatcher, we're gonna talk about in the future, right? So the last thing is get DOM using event target, right? So because React used event delegation anyway, so we can make use of this event target property to get the DOM even without using a ref, right? So why we want to learn this? Okay, I'm gonna give you a ref. So we want to go back to the offshore page again, and you scroll down. As you can see, there's a very big header here. See, don't overuse refs. It means that as long as you don't have to, maybe you don't need to, right? So, but it still depends on the real life project. You can either use it or not, but don't overuse it. So that's the reason why I'm gonna introduce you another method to get the DOM, right? To get DOM using event target. So let's do a little review. Like we just use ref to get the DOM first. So scraps Bravo get DOM using refs. Yep. And after that, event.target, right? Event.target. I gave you two examples, two ways of getting DOM, so that you can compare the difference between those, right? So again, same example. We want to get two input fields and one button, right? Okay, class demo3 extends react dot component and return a render return div. In this step we have each one we give it a for get DOM using refs, not h1, h2, right? And instead we have two input field. The first one is please order input and click the button, right? So and we'll give it a button, click me, right? So we have another input says button, and we'll give it a placeholder input and lose focus, right? So now we want to show the message from this two, so we give it a on, oh no, not here, we give it a on click this dot show data 2. Okay, so this one will give it a on blur this dot show data 3. To get the value from this input field, so we need to ref, right? So input to ref dot create ref input 3 react dot create ref. Okay. So now we have two refs, and we just add this to input field ref dot this dot input 2. This on blur we give it a ref dot this dot input 3. Right. Okay, let's render this. Oh, we need to define these two functions, right? So show data 2. So this dot input 2 dot current dot value show data 3 input 3 current value, right? Render demo 3 and for ref. Then refs, ref. Okay, let's take a look. So get down using ref. I input something here. Input, click me. It says input, right? So input something, lost focus. Cannot read property value of no. Blur this show data 3. Must be some typo here. Oh, input 3. Input 3. All right. Okay. So this is the way we use ref to get the dot value, right? So this is what we have already talked about from last class. And in this case, I'm gonna just copy and paste this example. And I will give you the demo 4 and 5 event.target using event.target. So how do we implement this? So if we got event.target, let's just show you the page first. So get on using number 5. Right. So we have event target, so we don't need this ref anymore. So we just comment this out, and we can get rid of this blur ref, right? So in this part, we can give it a. This is just like what we have used in raw JavaScript. We need to pass an event right here, and in this case, we're gonna use event.target.value and see what happens here. Input something, lost focus. Is, as you can see here, it displayed, right? Word, right? So in this case, we just use the event.target value from the show data event handler. It just print the value right here, right? So let's add elements here. So pass event to handler and get value, right? So can we just modify this part of the code? So using event dot target. No, why we cannot use this? Because click event happens on the button. However, values or node element is the input. So event So we not pass event as parameter to get the value from node invoked node, right? So because they are using different, so if you get the value from the onClick, this node is the button. There's no value on this node, right? So in this, for this moment, we still is not be able to get the value, but we can do that in the future, right? So this is the why we want to learn this. Again, do not overuse refs, right? So in what case, under what kind of scenario you would prefer event.target value, or you prefer ref? We're gonna talk about that in the future, but actually, so both with are useful. So it's better to know all of them. So this is pretty much about how we do event handling in React, right? So you just use these two ways to assign event handler on page elements, and you use this event delegation or bubbling to assign to dispatch the events and to manage all the events, and still you can use event or target to get which element has invoked the event, right? So that you can get a value from that specific element eventually. Yeah, this is pretty much about the event handling in React today.